What's up, y'all? This your girl Lola with Lola's Chronicles, and yet again, I'm here interviewing with Miss Dr. Cheria. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for taking the time out to come on the show today.
No problem.
So, can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Um, I'm a South Louisiana true Southern girl, born and raised, 51 years old, mom, teacher, author, consultant, life coach, just literally, not figuratively, living my best life and being the best me I can be. That's it.
Um, that's what's up. That's dope. I love to hear that. I love to hear that. That's motivation right there.
Mhm.
So, you say you're an author. So, what made you want to write a book?
I've always journaled, even from a very young girl. Always journal. I'm an only child, and so those journals were kind of like my outlets. And so through life, that's what I've done. And at some point, um, it just seemed like let me just really be serious about putting pen to paper because there was a lot really happening in life, and I'm seeing different things evolved. It wasn't like you know how some people kind of monkey see monkey do.
Right.
I watched a lot of people put a lot of garbage in the atmosphere, and and it's like I was just feeling like it was just time to really let my voice be heard as well. Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that. And from one author to another, I met you at an expo here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you came
Yeah.
all the way to Grand Rapids for the Women Who Write Expo, and me and my daughter got a chance to kick it and meet you. That was a good experience.
Yeah, our
Mhm.
picture of she and I, and the pictures that we had taken and they had been uploaded to Facebook popped up in a memory just I think it was Thursday or so, and I was like, look at her, because she's grown so much now.
Yeah,
But yes,
that was a good experience.
yeah.
How many books have you written?
I've actually written six actual books. I have two workbooks, and right now, because I'm in academia, I'm completing a workbook for special education educators.
Okay, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Besides writing, what are some other things you like to do?
Uh, I consider myself to be a very interesting person because I like all the stuff that most women really don't get into. I love to get my nails done and all that kind of stuff, but I prefer to be out in the dirt, out in the
Oh,
country. Yeah, out in the country, being active, being creative. I have, for health reasons, I haven't been able to be as active as I used to be, but I enjoy, like right now I keep looking to left and right because I have windows all around me, and it's so beautiful outside. If it had not rained the last few days, I'd probably be out there now like doing gardening and things of that nature. But I'm a true Pisces, so my essence is artistic. So at some point you may see me with a canvas, and I have pieces throughout the house. At my business office, I have a big, I think it may be like 3x4 abstract that's in the when you first the entryway, because that's my thing. Just whatever it is that's going to allow me to be creative. Usually don't sell the stuff. A lot of times I do it and gift it, that kind of stuff. But I like to keep that other side of my brain moving. That's
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that nature. I'm not too big on the nature. Yeah, I
Really?
like. No, I don't play around. I be wanting to, but I'm just like, nah. I
No,
tell my friends,
a friend introduced me to camping. Well, I had been, when I was younger, I was a Girl Scout, and
okay,
had some property and really kind of underdeveloped. And he was just like, well, let's go camping. And I was like, camping? And at first I was like, nah. But then as time passed, I would beat him going camping. By the time he got there, I had the tent popped up and food cooking, and had graduated to having the tent set up almost like a house, outside shower. Like, yeah.
yeah, no. I told them they talk about it. I told them I'm the one that and I promise I have to. I'm gonna pray on it because I'll be the one that leaves and come back in the morning. I'm not sleeping outside. I'm not sleeping outside. No, no, no. I don't do animals, bugs, none of that. So it's like, I don't know. You recently just had a birthday as well. Happy
Yeah,
belated birthday.
yeah,
Yeah.
51, 51.
Hey, make that a blessing.
Yes.
I
Yes.
also was reading your bio and you went to an HBCU. So how was your experience
I'm
attending
I'm
there?
I'm a double HBCU graduate. Um,
Okay.
I am a and I'm a true advocate and proponent for HBCU education. There's a lot of fighting, I guess you would say, or pushback about the need and the relevance of it. But because I am a graduate from two different HBC institutions, and I went to a PWI, and the disrespect. Just to give an example, in between my doctoral studies, I had to have major surgery, and I came and I enrolled in a PWI. And when I got there, I had, I think, like a 3.8, 3.9 GPA. Lot more courses than their whole curriculum required. They put me on probation and told me I had to prove myself before
Oh
they would
wow.
give me any of their monies and things of that nature. And I know there are a lot of African Americans, now, really mainstreamed into PWIs, and I don't have an issue with it. But I do know that when my HBCU called me back home, I went. And throughout my whole, I guess I would say, educational career, our institutions not only teach, but they nurture. And there's just something about being in the midst of all of your people, and just thinking about the idea that we're all here to be truly educated, to gain
Yeah.
something that the shoulders we're standing on, they may or may not have had that opportunity. And so I am a strong proponent for HBCUs. If I can give, I give. If I can go, I go. If I can do, I do. And I just believe in it. So yes, I hope I answered your question. But yeah, I'm team HBCU all day.
I know that's right. I'm trying to get my daughter to swing that way. I've been talking to her about it. I want to get her involved in some programs. I
Hmm.
really am reconsidering moving down south so she could be closer and get more involved because I would love for her to attend an HBCU. Um, that was always a dream of mine, but
Hmm.
due to my own circumstances and actions, I wasn't able to. But I really want to pave a way for her to be able to. If you
Hmm.
don't mind me asking, what two HBCUs did you attend?
My undergraduate and my master's is from Southern University and A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and my doctorate is from Jackson State in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay. Crazy. I love to hear about educated black women so much. I do. I really do. Um, what are some challenges you face so far on your journey?
Oh God,
Hmm.
this is the third time I've been asked that question this week. Oh my God. Um, you don't make it to 51 without having a lot of challenges.
Yeah, a lot
Uh,
of challenges.
and some of the things that I think people traditionally consider to be challenges, I see them as blessings. My father was unfortunately killed in a car accident when I was 2. So my mother and my village, my mother's mother, grandfather, and great aunts and all of that raised me. And so that was interesting. I've as I am now an adult woman, I understand the missing link when there's not a father. I can understand it now. But when you're going through that life process, and life is lifing as a young woman, you don't really get it. You hear people talk about it. But I get it now. I think they call that the fatherless daughter. Somebody has coined that phrase. Um, and I think that might be one minor obstacle, because there are aspects of womanhood that you get from both sides. And so that's one piece. I've had, um I'm divorced, um and it was not that was very challenging. But I think the most challenging piece for my divorce, um was people being nosy, and
Mhm.
people wanting to tell my story. that truly wasn't my story. I think that would be one of my challenges. And it took me a very long time to get to a point where I just simply said, whatever the narrative is you choose to believe, then that's your narrative, and you take it and you run with that. Because I'll often talk about the five finger truth. There's the right side, the left side, the stuff in the middle, which is probably where the truth exists, but the true pieces to the truth are these variables. And so I always talk about truth from a perspective of a five finger truth. In one of my books, I talk about that thoroughly because often, like you talk about these challenges and adversities, you'll often hear me say, you got to own your mess, and you got to be true to yourself. And so I guess that's why I'm kind of struggling, and I struggled when the question was asked me the other day. um I've had a instance where I've been wrongfully not incarcerated but arrested for something that I didn't do. I mean, I'm a woman from the South, and for
Right.
years I wouldn't talk about it. And I was on a tour with my son, and took my son up to New York with the gun in the car, not realizing that New York has some of the strongest gun laws in the nation. And the gun was accidentally left. The tote that had the gun was left in the hotel room. I went back innocently and was arrested for it. But again, you know, if I would have had to do something differently, I don't think I would have, because when you
Right.
grow up in the South, you grow up with that protect mode. I guess I would call myself a country girl.
Yeah,
But
you
but
have.
people, yeah, people don't let your your shortcomings be what they are, and they don't want to hear the truth. So I guess that would be an adversity, because they wanted to give me 33 years in prison for bringing my own gun with me, making me the poster child for don't come to New York with a gun, you know. And so when I think about that, it's often hard for me. I'm literally just now, and it's been years, but I am just now at a point that I can actually talk about it openly, because a lot of people don't realize that sometimes in life you make innocent mistakes. And even though in this particular case I didn't do anything wrong, but I still feel convicted. If you're understanding what I'm saying. And so often that happens with us, and we don't know how to deal with that, and that creates other levels of adversity within ourselves. We feel convicted for things we shouldn't be convicted, and then when other people find out about it, they people are so cruelly judgmental, as if they don't have skeletons, and I could talk about that all day long, how people are, and when you're at a point of adversity, how people handle your adversities. And it's often very interesting that your perspectives and theirs don't align. So hopefully I answered the question.
Yes,
These are
it is.
yeah, they're simple questions, but for me they're very powerful questions.
Well, thank you. I did. I did miss out on the question, and I was reminded. So,
Uh-huh.
with you being an HBCU attendee,
Yeah.
how would you define the success rate of Morehouse?
Girl, you're not finna ask me to talk about somebody else's school, are you?
Okay.
um and it's funny, I have an opinion. um mm, Oh, the diplomacy needed for this one. You did ask me about. Let me lean in. The success rate of Morehouse, correct?
Yes.
In Georgia,
Yes.
the all male HBCU.
Well, that was the question that somebody told me to ask. So you being a HBCU attendee, so I'm not sure.
Okay, well, let me just stick to the question.
Okay.
The question is relative to the success rate. They are graduating our young black men, and those graduates are being properly and effectively prepared through a historically black institution that has a very powerful reputation.
Okay.
Did I how about that?
Yep. You did that right there.
Yeah. And I really, in all seriousness, I had to clean it up because I have one of my besties
Yeah.
has a son that's at Morehouse now, and I've been able to watch the challenges,
Yeah.
and they're not challenge. Some of the challenges are his, you know,
Yeah.
and we own that part. But then when you look at the other side, the challenges that are created um, internally within the institution, and so I can't speak for their institutional effectiveness, but I do know that often our institutions eat themselves up from the inside out. We allow the outside to paint our narrative, paint our picture, or to tell our story, but a part of our HBCU issues per se are because of internal politics. Yeah.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
And I say that in the context of the Morehouse situation because I've watched that. I know quite a few wonderful guys that are Morehouse grads, and I also know some Morehouse grads that are garbage. But I guess you could say that about any institution.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Hmm.
Yeah. I get
Hmm.
what you're saying. So I also was reading your biography, and you were saying that you're a life coach, right?
Hmm.
So how has that been, being a life coach?
I don't really play on that side much. I do and I don't. Like
Mm-hmm.
I am not on the billboard at my office. It does not say life coach, um, but I am a certified life coach. But more so, um, I deal with the consultant side of it, and through that, I work with clients that need help and guidance. But what often you're not going to hear people that have the title of a life coach is that we need life coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my life coach is a wonderful person. She used to be here in Louisiana. She moved to Arizona, um, and she and I talk from time to time. But the bottom line is, you don't do anything by yourself.
Right.
And so more of I think I did more true life coaching when I because I was actually, that's the other side. I am a professor as well. And so I was on faculty and still am on faculty at my alma mater. But I'm not on faculty at my alma mater now, but I'm on faculty at another HBCU. And so, but being in the classroom, um teaching and coaching my people, I think I did more of that than I did the academic side. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know, like I say, because I have a life coach as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very helpful. It do, I understand they can't live for you, but it is very inspirational for me because, growing up in the streets and the way I was and the things that I used to do, and then to see myself in a better light and have somebody to be there to open my eyes to another view of myself is, I feel like, is necessary for everybody, like you say.
Mm-hmm.
So that that's what's up. I tip my hat to that. Being
And
a life
sometimes
coach.
it's really not about, I guess you would say, life per se. Sometimes
Yeah,
you just need somebody to tell you, look, you don't do well with time.
yeah,
Time management and life management. I have a picture that I posted on my personal Facebook, and I think I put it on my business page as well. Um, that my life my coach, because she doesn't call herself a life coach, my coach insisted that I get fresh professional pictures. And so I am total diva. Will swing ahead, put some makeup on, and just be ready, ready, ready. And when she set me up in the studio, I was like, what? And in every picture, like, she almost had to shake me and wake me and be like, relax, just be you. And so sometimes your coach is just simply letting you know that you've made it.
yeah,
And it's okay to own the fact that as in her favorite word, you're Googleable.
yeah,
And so sometimes you just need that person to remind you that all your hard work wasn't in vain.
Yep, and you're right about that because I had to sit back and tell myself that, like, I had to sit and actually Google myself one day, and I was like, this is crazy. You know
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying? I can Google myself. You Google me, and all this stuff pop up, and all these accomplishments, and it's just such a big. It's big to me because there were so many people telling me what I wasn't gonna be doing. So
That part.
and now that I'm like, okay, you can Google me. You know what I'm saying? You can
Yeah.
find me. I'm somewhere. I'm on Walmart.com. Okay, you can find me on Amazon. Like so, it's deep. My life coach told me the same thing. You need professional pictures, and I'm like we were saying the other day. I was like, girl, me too. I need them too,
Uh-huh.
cause I'm just like professional pictures. Like okay, but it's like you're stepping into this door where you have to do some things you're not used to doing, and it's all beneficial. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you had a post the other day, and you said you were waiting for what is what? How did you have it? Uh, my talk to my assistant. You know,
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so, but I believe that they need to talk to your assistant.
yeah.
You know, even if your assistant is your automated
You're
robocall that
right
rolls
about that.
to your other phone number, like no people. That's
Uh-oh.
another piece to it. Like when you begin to transition, sadly, you'll be more respected outside than inside.
Yeah, I'm
And
learning it.
people will have this thing where they'll often call um and I'm gonna try to stick to your questions, but they'll get on this. Let me pick your brain. What you mean pick my brain? Like you can go to my website and you can book some time and pay the deposit. You know that part, but they don't often respect that part of it. But they'll go to other people
Mhm.
and they will go through the process. They'll give them their whole American Express, the whole 9 yards. But you may have even more credentials than the people that they're willing to go to. But because they know you per se, and maybe they grew up with you, and a host of different things, the respect that you truly have earned is often not given by those closest to you. So when I saw your post, I was like, girl, they need to call your assistant. Because if not for because it, and when we were talking about the divorce piece, I had to like bring my websites down, dealing with divorce stuff, and pull books off the it's a lot of different things that occurs that a lot of people don't realize. I've had look, it's bringing me back to these adversities. I had my office building, and the man filed bankruptcy and didn't tell anybody. I was on the seventh floor. I had just did a book launch and couldn't get in the building to get none of my stuff.
Oh
And
wow.
people had pre-ordered stuff from me and bought books from me and all kind of stuff. And the man had locked the building, and I had to call the local news. And when she called him on the phone, he was like, oh well, I'll open the door. And my friend really literally had to hire a moving company to get some of my stuff out. But at this point, we're talking months later. and,
Right.
and and all of us that had offices in that building, and now they've redid the place and they're advertising, and I'm thinking to myself, did some of my stuff still be on the
Should
seventh
be.
floor? But the major stuff we were able to get out. But sometimes people don't realize when you're a small business owner, like this stuff isn't easy.
Mhm. And I'm speaking it into existence because I need one. Because
Right.
between trying to build a publishing company and being a podcaster, and then I'm still trying to promote my books as well. I'm
Hmm.
learning how to balance things, but it's like okay, yeah, I need a little help here because
Yeah.
I want to be able to schedule people and get back to people on time. And then I'm a single mom and I work full time, and so it's like okay, whew, it's not enough
Right.
hours in the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
writing books right now, and I'm trying to get finished. That was supposed to have been finished, and some things came up that was a little more important than finishing that. So I'm
Right.
trying to get that together. So yeah, I said I'm speaking that into existence. Please talk to my assistant. She will. I can get back with you at my earliest convenience. She will
Right.
have me set up, and I will be there.
Right.
So I'm speaking that into existence. I really
Right.
am. So, um, who and what would you say motivates me?
Hmm. Um. My true motivation used to be my son. Now my son motivates me. Um, but I think my greatest motivation right now is myself. And that's like the real truth. Like my greatest motivation right now is each day when I wake up, I'm trying to be a better person than I was yesterday. And being that better person specifically for me, not so anybody else can be happy with it or any of that. So that's my motivation right now. And that's what drives me to do better with health. That's what drives me to do better with career. And I set a goal to retire at 55. Now whether or not I'm going to make it, I don't know, but the bottom line is every day I get up and I'm moving in a direction that's hopefully going to make me better. So yeah, I'm my motivation right now.
I hear that, and I'll be glad when I can say something like that.
You there now. You just hadn't realized it, but you're there now.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm
Oh
working on it. What's something you would tell your younger self?
Lord. Um,
That's
something
one of
I
my
would tell.
favorite questions.
And
I
I
do.
actually, it's funny because I actually started years ago. I wrote a letter to my younger self,
Hmm.
and my son was born when I was in college in undergrad, and so I had written a letter. And my mom had it. I had it. She because like just of course when you life is lifing. Like she was my holder of the documents. And so she handed me the envelopes, and I have to yet, and it's been a few years now, even opened it. The letter that I had written to him, and the letter to the younger self. I think what I would tell my younger self. Well, it depends on which phase. What I would tell the high school self is, um, your chocolate skin is beautiful, because that used to be one of my adversities, especially being in the South. Um, being dark skinned wasn't cool. And then I got to college, and it was everything, because you had people from all over. You had, that thing. That's what I would tell the high school self. I would tell the high school self that your chocolate skin is beautiful. I would tell the 20-year-old self to be more financially prepared. Um, I would tell the 30-year-old self of that phase, and I'm speaking of the 10-year
Yeah.
gaps. I would tell the 30-year-old self it's okay to move slow, and it's okay that you're not married yet. I think I got caught up in that whole thing. And a lot of us don't. The things that the truths that I tell myself now are a lot of the things that a lot of us still won't be honest with ourselves about.
Yeah.
Um, so that 30-year-old self, I think that's the big one. If I had to sit down and talk to her, I could really feel her with. I wouldn't want to go back to that phase unless I could take this wisdom with me.
Right.
But if I could talk to her, I would tell her that it's okay to continue grooming yourself, and not get caught up in that whole idea of um you're not married yet, so you need to hurry up and get a husband, that kind of thing, and start that American dream, the house and the car and the dog, because literally at one point my life looked like that. The house with the dog and the pool in the back and the kid, and driving them to school and all of that. And I realized that was just a waste of years. If I guess I'm that may be the wrong thing to say,
No,
but I
it's
think
not. It's not because it's honesty. You're living in your truth. And so
right.
no, it's not the wrong thing to say.
Like I gave my healthier years to the wrong things,
To the
to the
wrong
wrong
thing.
points of focus. Um, my 40-year-old self, I would sit and tell her you're going to be okay. And so now that it's one, a lot of people celebrate 50, but when I got to 50, I had this grand celebration planned, only for the doctor to tell me you have something wrong with your heart and you may not make it. And to have to, well, not have to, but I made a conscious choice to, instead of having this big old party where I'm invited. I mean, I had the planner and, and all of that, the venue book, money. I lost so much money. And literally right before, I canceled everything. And I said, I don't want that. The only thing I want is to walk into that 50 with people that, you got, you might have 5,000 followers, but you
Yep.
might have five that if you're not feeling good, they'll bring you a glass of water and a Tylenol.
Right.
And so that's where my mind went to. So when you start thinking about what you would tell those former selves, I've thought about what I would tell those different seasons. And I think about where I am right now. And so it's crazy, but I'm me and this woman right here, this 51-year-old woman, see, getting to 50, and then to find out after you cancel your big party and they do your test over again that it was literally a glitch on the machine.
Look at God.
Look,
Look
baby,
at God.
and,
See,
and,
I
and,
hear
and ain't nobody, they're not gonna tell me there was a glitch on the machine.
no, look at
That
God.
was God waking me up. That's what that was. So I'll let them go with it. Was the glitch on the machine. We redid the test. The test was all wrong. Your heart is fine. You strong. You good. No, that was God waking me up to realize that you don't need all of that. Everything that you truly need in life is right here.
Yep.
And when I made that realization, a lot of stuff looks different. My tagline has been for many years unapologetically unbothered. And baby, when I tell you I am literally unbothered, whatever God do for me is what God do for me. And I think that may be the other thing I would tell all of those former selves. God is gonna do it.
Yeah.
You just have to be patient and wait for him to, whatever doors there are, you don't have to go kicking in doors. Because God gonna open doors that you didn't even know existed, and that is what has happened throughout my entire life. Even when people trying to close doors on me, God get to opening doors, and they wondering, well, wait a minute, we tried to sabotage, or we was talking this and we were doing this, and wait a minute, but she's still moving. That's right, because you got to be careful who you put your mouth on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep. So yeah, and I feel like you're taking me through that journey now because I'm a strong believer that blessings and lessons go hand in hand. You
indeed,
feel me? So they
indeed,
go hand in hand. So I'm learning. He has been isolating me and putting me to work, I swear, in so many ways. And I feel the change. I see the growth.
hmm,
Even when I got my day, I do like
yeah,
everybody else. But
yeah,
and I feel where he's kicking in on my conscience. If I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, okay, Jadonna, you got to bring it on
right,
back. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Or if I feel like I'm drifting off his topic or anything, he put somebody in my path to be like, hey, I listened to your podcast and woo, 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 woo. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna make another episode. I gotta
right,
get this ready. Or I don't feel like writing today and stuff, and then I run into somebody like I'm waiting on that next book. And it's like, okay, I need to go home and write on this book a little bit
yeah, yeah,
more. They waiting on me. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I get it completely. So my next question would be, what advice do you have for a young woman that's looking up to you?
Honestly, don't. Seriously, um because I'm precariously flawed, and I appreciate that because I've heard it, and I do appreciate it, and I don't take it lightly. But because I know that I am precariously imperfect, I also don't want them to be overly disappointed with the mistakes, because not every, because you specifically said a young woman, and for me that's important, because I think our young women are being grounded in the wrong stuff,
Mhm.
and they're like these people that they look up to, and these idols, or what's supposed to be like the perfect body and all that kind of, like, I'm just me. And I
Yeah.
guess that's what I would tell them. There's the only recipe to it is hard work and prayer. And when you pray and you give something to God, you leave it with God and let God work through it and don't take it back. Like that's the only advice I could really give to them, because I don't have all the answers. And I count every phase of life as being a different level of blessing. So
Mhm.
like there's no answer to it, because sometimes you may, just like you said, you up, you with it, you doing it, you ready, you this, and then you have them days that like, where's my Xanax?
Right.
Because I don't think I'm gonna make it today. Because right now this is my favorite spot right behind me. Either the spot I'm in now on the floor, um, or this sofa, and I do have a den in the back, which is more so my second office. You got the business office, and you got another desk. But I'm thinking about taking that desk out of there, so I don't have any business at home. That kind of thing. But to tell a young woman that's looking up to me, just be your best version of yourself. Don't follow me, don't follow nobody else. Let God lead your life, and don't come to me for advice if you don't want the truth that I'm gonna give you.
I love it. That's what I love your personality so dope. It's like I love it because you raw and uncut, and I like that about you. Because some people I love to get advice from people like you because I don't need nobody to sugarcoat nothing. you
Right.
know. And that's why when we were talking about me doing the podcast on not bringing your relationship into the problems with me, and I'm like, when you was like, you'll come on there, yeah, of course, that'd be very, of course, that'd be interesting because I gotta have you on there because that was a good idea. I gotta have you on there. We gotta set it up. But I love to talk to people that don't like sugarcoating or holding nothing back because I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't raised that way. I was raised by my grandparents and my grandmother and my aunts. They just straightforward with it. Ain't
Mm-hmm.
no sugarcoat nothing. Ain't no come here, baby. Let me tell you a little bit. No, this going just straight, just
It
nice to
is
the
what it
top.
is.
You're gonna bleed out. You're gonna be all right. We're gonna stitch you up, and you're gonna keep on moving. So
Right.
that's how I was raised with it. And I mean, it's a love and a curse thing because sometimes it's like I want to be emotionally attached to something, but it's like look, hey. It is what it is because I want to be more genuinely delivering my when I'm talking to somebody, but I can't sugarcoat nothing either. And I say the first thing that's on my mind, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. And I just like, look, I'm not the friend that's gonna, pat you on the back, and rub your wounds. I'm gonna tell you just what it is, and I
Mm-hmm.
expect, I want that back. I want somebody to tell me like, look, you messing up, and this is what you're doing. I see it. Don't be afraid to tell me about myself. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. I love that personality you have.
I think I shared somebody's post. I don't know whose post it was the other day. And it's like, when you come to me with a problem, once I give you, a recommended solution, when you bring it back again, you got to schedule an appointment and pay a deposit. Like, so, cause like if you're not prepared to work through it, like, and I expect people to be the same way with me. Like
Yeah,
don't we not about to, I call it rehearse trauma. We're not going to continuously rehearse trauma over and over and over again. Like, either you're going to own your mess and not just, oh, well, he did me this or she did me that, oh, the job and this. No, own the fact that you late every day.
right.
That's why the people had to dock your pay. Like, and I'm just using it as a light example, but even on a 10,000 foot level, as we began to mature, and I remember having lectures, because I used to teach, and I still do, a course on family relationships on the university level. and
Okay.
and one of the things that I talk about with one of my students, that well, my students one time was, um you meet him in the club, you bed him 2 days later, you end up pregnant, and now you mad because he ain't a good baby daddy.
Right.
Like, you gotta own how you got yourself into that situation. and not take something and expect that people are going to pacify it or anything like that. Now let's be very clear. I'm a true Pisces. I cry, but I'm a Pisces that was raised by a Leo
And
that
I'm a
that,
leader.
that played no games all day, and even right now, shoot it straight. This is what it is. Now it's up to you to accept it and decide if you're gonna be big mad or little mad. But the
Right.
reality of it is, I think we don't have enough of that, and
No,
we
we
don't have
don't.
enough of that
Yeah.
authentic honesty, and everybody wants to jump on the same bandwagons. But
Hmm.
I think that we all have our own God-given gifts, and in the midst of those God-given gifts, we there's enough talent to go around for each person to have their own little niche. But we don't do that. We all want to. That's why I told you I don't deal with the life coach side.
Yeah.
I probably have more true certifications and licensures that I don't utilize than the ones that I do. But that was all a season in life of trying to grow, and I call it resume building, where you
Yeah.
where you run around and you're a socialite, you're joining organizations. I mean, I just talked about this with somebody. You're all over the place, but then you get to this season in life, and the aunt they used to say, "What is it? If you want something done, you ask a busy person." But I don't agree with that, because I
Mm.
think you can overextend yourself to a point where you don't make room for yourself anymore.
Yes.
And every of course everybody gonna see you're on everybody's post, you're tagged, your picture is everywhere, and you got an award for this and you got an award for that. But how truly productive are you with each one of those things? That are you just a person, you just in the room? And when they
Right.
take the group picture, you can say, "Oh, well, I'm a member of this and I'm a member of that." Like how much of it are you truly a part of?
I don't know what happened right there.
Look, I must have been telling too much truth. You can't.
Can't say too much on this.
Right, you get to telling too much truth. Somebody get mad. Maybe the
Right,
person just said, "Wait."
right, right. Hold on, they done glitched us out. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? Because I was tuned in. I'm like, you know, man, they better leave us alone.
Right, absolutely.
But you're so very right about that, you know, and I definitely have to kick it with you more often because I need somebody with that type of knowledge that can lead and guide me into the right direction. Because I'm a firm believer in God too, and I feel He put people in your life for a reason.
Absolutely.
And I look to if I could learn from you, you know what I'm saying? If I can learn from you, I am there. I'm all in. You know, and I love meeting people that I can grow with and learn from at the same point in time because I
Right.
don't know everything, and a lot of it I can relate to. I don't like. I got people. Some people I'm around that I know for a fact in my mind, in my heart, like they can't teach me nothing. They some cool people. I know it, but they can't teach me nothing. But
But
then
guess
I,
what? They can though.
but
They,
not to do. They can
they
teach me what
yeah,
not to
right.
do.
They
That's
can they
all
can
they
they
have
can teach you what not to do. But the other side to it is, um, sometimes those people, and I will say people that might be considered to be undesirables, they got to that point because of their life journey.
Yeah, true.
So I don't believe that there are that you can't learn nothing. There's something, if it's no more, because not only you said people get in your life for a reason, but sometimes people are in your life for a season.
Yeah.
And that's the missing link with some things, because sometimes it's the same thing with relationships. People meet somebody and they say, "Oh, we met and we were courting, and 3 months later we were married." And oh, and I'm just so devoted to them because they were good to me when this happened and good to me when that happened. Well, maybe God put them in your life to be good to you for that purpose, but you took it upon yourself to latch on to something that He didn't intend for you to latch on to. It was seasonal. And
Hmm.
so you get that lesson, you take that lesson from it, and you move forward. You don't because everybody can't is not designed to be a part of the life experience. Sometimes they're designed to be a part of the seasonal experience. And when you said that also about people that you could learn from, it's some folks that will be in some rooms that you're in that they in there purporting to want to be on the team, but they ain't trying to teach you nothing. I went to a women's event, and I have been dealing with education for 25 plus years. A lady walked up to my table, and this was this was the educational consulting side, something, a business that I built from my son having an auditory processing disorder as a very, which pushed me into special education. She picked up my packet, and I'm gonna try to, because I'm long-winded, I'm gonna try to keep this short. She picked up my packet and flipped through my stuff, and she said, "Oh, I'm gonna take this to my daughter. She could take your stuff and retype it and use it for her company." Man, right. And I was so taken aback because, like, you have your materials out, and I think that was the naive side of me, thinking that I'm at this event, and we all each have our specialty, and so we're here to promote what we're doing, to promote, but everybody ain't trying to share.
Yeah,
Some people are trying to get as much as they can from you, and basically steal from you. I call it stealing because that's what it is. Steal your intellectual property, and then in turn go forth and be fruitful. And you have to be very, very, very careful with that. That's the other reason why when I'm in a true writing headspace, I don't read.
I don't either, and some people get offended by that because okay, I started with urban fiction novels
Mm-hmm.
and reading, and when I really started writing my short stories and I started with the short stories first.
Yeah.
I stopped reading those books. And then when I started writing my novels, I don't read urban fiction novels at all. And I will purchase them or I will send people that like to read your way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't because I don't want it to conflict with what I'm writing because everything I write comes off the top of my head.
Right.
Some people get offended, well, why should I read your book if you're not going to read mine? That's up to you.
Right.
Because that's up to you if you don't, what I'm saying, because I still support you. I'll purchase it,
Right.
you know, and I support you. It's gonna be on my bookshelf. Once I move it to my house and I get my bookshelf going, it'll be there. Sign
Uh-huh.
it for me, whatever. But some people get so offended by that, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you because you will never get the opportunity to say I stole your idea like you or be like you when I do this. I think of this off the top of my head. I'm fighting characters at this very moment I'm speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So some people really get offended by that, and I don't understand why. If I'm in this deep writing mode, I don't read nothing. And the
Mm-hmm.
books that I'm reading is more so life help books, and self help and motivate me to get off the path that I'm on and to change and be better for my daughter. I don't want to read about, the same things that I've seen or experienced and I'm writing about. That's putting me in the same mind space that I don't need to be in. I'm
Mm-hmm.
writing about stories and things, but it's not necessarily something that I've actually seen or witnessed. It's just the creativity in me. A lot
Right.
of it I do take experience, but people really do get mad. Like, you ain't gonna read my book. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that. It's not that, hon. It's not that. It's just that if I'm in that writing space, like you said, I'm
Right. I actually I should be on my social media hiatus right now. But we kept pushing our date, and because we were scheduled, I didn't take it. But after this, I am gonna go on it. But I'm also a travel agent, and I have all these different trips that I'm promoting, and I'm trying to figure out what the new thing is. My son was telling me something, my coach was telling me something else, where I can actually, still do my promos without actually having to log into them all. So as soon as I can go back and get that straightened out, like I need to take a social media break, and just really step away from all of that, and get myself together. That's why I was excited that this came at a time. And I saw you like the post, and I was like, she's back, because this was actually my year to rebrand and relaunch, because I do have a lot of material, and I do have a lot of things that are about to launch, and I've been invited for various speaking engagements, and different things like that. But I've really been, my phrase is prayers, patience, silence, and that's the way I move. That's who I am: prayers, patience, silence. And so, like, I've really been kind of underground, and doing my own thing. A lot of people try to blame stuff kind of like on the pandemic and all that. Nah, it wasn't the pandemic. Like, I was on a slope going underground to heal myself, like a collective healing. Nothing major happened, but sometimes we need to do that.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
to do a people purge and all of that. And I was looking at my, which is kind of cool though, because I a lot of people I met, like you said, we met at the event and things of that nature. And I'm like, oh, all this positive stuff, on my, and I only have so many Facebook friends, but everybody's just so like, come on, ladies, we can do it, we can do it, that kind of thing. But I think sometimes we also get too caught up,
yeah,
and we don't take time for personal and self-reflection, and dealing with who we are as people, and even sometimes dealing with some of the traumas we've had. Traumas can be small, but they can internalize quite largely, and we don't look at that. And so that's where I am right now. But I was waiting for us to do our interview, and all of that. But otherwise, I would be a no-go for the next. I usually do like 30 to 60 days or so, and
yeah.
step away from it all, and just let life be what it's going to be. Like, I don't believe that I don't believe people really need to be that deep into your life like that. Like, I think that you use the social media for what it is, for social, like, yeah, and for promotion. But a lot of things like you have, which is why I agree, because I believe it or not, and I know they say all promo is good, but I've turned down interviews. But
Yeah.
I've paid attention to some of the things that you speak to, or a lot of things that I often think about, and so people don't, I don't know, that access is something. And people have too much access to you, and they're too kind of involved in the wrong aspects of your life. And so they'll talk about all the things that they think they know about you, but they're not gonna buy a book. They not gonna buy a t-shirt. They not gonna sew into the business. They're not gonna do any of that. But as soon as you blow up, oh, I know her. They're gonna, we know her. We gonna call her. Yeah, that was Lola's Chronicles. Yeah, look, or oh, we remember when she was just doing that little podcast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. And
See, I get
I
I
see
get I get a lot of that. I remember when you wasn't you
them.
tutoring them
I
kids? No, I
see
wasn't
them.
never tutoring kids. I had a major business going of doing educational assessment. I ain't never tutored no children, but people like to demean you as you evolve. And I guess if I could leave you with anything, baby, keep pressing, because I'm watching, and a
I
whole
appreciate
lot
it.
of other people are watching. And you and baby girl, and y'all just growing. And like, you had something out there one time. Like, I'm one of them people. If you got something positive, I'm posting, sharing, liking, whatever needs to happen with that. But I also pay attention to the fact that folks don't reciprocate. And they laughed at me when I told them one time, don't you see you and your little children with your brownies and your Girl Scout cookies, and your, what was it, the double up popcorn, and all, don't call me with none of it. Because when it comes time, and there needs to be a reciprocation, I can't hear from you. But when your little children got all this stuff going on, you in my inbox, then found my private number, my work number, and every number. And seriously, this year, because I had been asking, I love Girl Scout cookies, and I always post every year, who got Girl Scout cookies? Nobody responds. So somebody's child was smart enough to put their link with the little cutie pie in her brownie uniform out there, say, look, my child selling Girl Scout cookies, go by. I got home, I had a box on my front step, and my mom was saying, "You got a package?" And I was like, "A package, baby? That was my Girl Scout cookies. They had delivered my Girl Scout cookies to." I said, "I'm gonna fix y'all because I've been asking y'all, all y'all
Mhm.
non-supporters." So Girl Scouts then gave me a way to get around all y'all. So don't call me if whoever watching, don't call me with your little children, popcorn, and none of that, because you don't support me. But I done found somebody else's child to support on the slick.
I know
And
that's
yeah, and yeah, I'm petty. You see, I'm looking straight at the screen. I'm good and petty.
it has me cracking up over here because I feel honored that you took the time out to come on my show today. I
So
really do. For real, I do.
we can laugh about it, and that's the beauty of it. We can laugh about it, and I appreciate people that appreciate authenticity. Cause I ain't trying to be nobody but me. I split verbs,
Mhm.
cut adjectives, but when it's time for me to put that suit on and them heels, I also know how to properly articulate. So the bottom line is, I appreciate you giving me time and space, because I know how valuable that is. Because you could have been interviewing anybody else at any time, but you chose me, and I appreciate that sincerely.
Yes, my door is always open. My platform is always open when you're ready. Like I said, I'm here to help support in any way I can. If I can share, put it out there. You're more than welcome to come on the show as many times as you want. If you got something you just feel like want to talk about, or it could be heard, or if you feel it could be informative for our Black people, my
Mhm.
door is always open. I'm going to put a session together because I would love to have you and I got two other people, some strong-minded people, or we can sit and talk about some things. So I'm definitely going to be sending details out for that soon to see about y'all availability. And how can people find you on social media? So
Oh,
once you're done with the purge and you're done and you're cleansed, because y'all heard my girl say, so don't be inboxing her because she got stuff to do and handle outside of social media. So how can they find you and follow you and continue to see your prosperous journey?
my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Dr. Cheria. Drcheria. Those are all of my professional platforms. The same thing with the websites as well. Website is my at Dr. Sharia, and it'll lead you to all the other pieces. But right now I pulled all of them down, because
Okay.
I'm going, when I come back out, I'm going to come back out. But I recently had them to take them all down. But my social media is still active. So that's the other thing. I'm not going to be as visible on social media, but if anybody inboxes me, I always respond. And my links are out there. I think they are. I don't want to lie, but they were on my Instagram and Facebook for my business pages, uh, and where you can go, and I'm still accepting bookings, and all of that. I still am who I am. I'm still on my soapbox. It's just that the personal side of me needs to step away from a lot of the social media, because there's some craziness out there. And it's funny because my mom doesn't really do social media like talking about, but she has a page. I mean, she has a snap. I don't even have a, what is it, TikTok. People send me stuff, and you know how you can see it, but I've never registered and actually have a registered TikTok. And it's funny, she sends me the coolest stuff, and it's usually when I need a laugh, and she'll send all kind of crazy stuff. But there's also a lot of stuff that just you really don't need when you're in this space that I am right now, and I'm in a writing season, that you don't need that energy in your spirit. And so I need for anybody that sees this to know that I'm not unapproachable. All of my business lines are still active. All of my stuff is still active. I have pulled the website down temporarily, but everything for me is Dr. Sharia. And anything else you would need when you go to those different pages, it outlinks you to, like, the educational assessment. It'll take you to that website. It'll take you to the coaching piece. It'll take you to where you can buy books and all of that.
And like you said earlier, you can Google her.
Absolutely. As my good friend, and my coach, I'm gonna give her a shout out. Paula Hutchinson Johnson. Um, she would always say, "Baby, I am Googleable." And the
Yes,
first time I heard her say that, I died laughing, but it really resonated with me. Like, yeah, yeah, and actually, she's Johnson Hutchison. She's Hutchison. I'm sorry, sis, but yeah, and she has been a lifesaver for me in more ways than she actually knows. But the bottom line is, yeah, I'm Googleable. So if
yes,
there's something you're wondering about, I'm out there. Yeah,
definitely. And when Tiana Taylor made that song "Google Me," I was like, okay, I'm feeling it. But now I turned it, I listen to it in a whole different light now. So Google me, baby. You
right,
know.
right.
But, and I want to thank you so much for taking out the time to come on the show and kick it with me. You're such a vibe, and I'm
Thank you,
looking forward to many, many more times to having you on the show with
thank
some
you.
deeper topics. Sometimes just chill and zen and relax and vibe. But
I'm with it.
once again, like I said, thank you so much. My door is always open. Whatever you need me for, just hit me, let me know, and I got you. I can't wait to come to Louisiana because I'm a visit. You're going to have to take me out
Come
and have
on.
some fun. So thanks again. And for y'all viewing and listening and tapping in, make sure y'all like, share, and follow. Hit the girl up, and we out.
All right. Bye. Thank you.